El tema de inglés médico que nos ha tocado investigar es sobre la silicosis crónica con fibrosis masiva progresiva. Esta es una enfermedad que no tiene cura y que afecta al sistema respiratorio por inhalar el polvo sílice. A continuación, sus causas. Bueno, pues las causas de la silicosis principalmente son laborales. Surge por trabajar en zonas de exposición al sílice. Entre los empleos donde se da esta exposición está la fabricación de abrasivos como es el chorro de arena, como es el pulido. Tenemos también la fabricación de vidrio, la minería, el trabajo en las canteras, donde están las galerías y los túneles. Tenemos la construcción de carreteras y edificios, la fabricación de cementos, también mediante el polvo que proviene de la limpieza, como los polvos del detergente, por pigmentos también, allí también hay este polvo sílice, y por realizar trabajos en piedra como el granito, la pizarra o la arenisca, entre otros. Entre otros también tenemos el corte de piedra, allí también se encuentra este polvo sílice.
Crystalline silica, or quartz, is found in most rocks, sands and clay. You're likely to find crystalline silica in concrete, mortar, brick, blocks, pavers, tiles, natural and manufactured stone benchtops, as well as cement-based materials such as fibre cement sheeting and autoclaved aerated concrete. The dust generated by high energy processes such as cutting, sawing, grinding, drilling and polishing can be harmful if inhaled. Because the dust can be 100 times smaller than a grain of sand, you could be breathing it in without even knowing. Exposure to silica dust can lead to lung cancer, silicosis, which is an irreversible scarring and stiffening of the lungs, kidney disease, and increase the risk of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease such as emphysema. It is estimated that 1 in every 100 workers exposed to silica dust will develop disease due to past exposures where the safety measures were not adequate. Exposure to silica dust is 100% preventable with the right safety measures in place. Some simple steps to prevent exposure are using adequate ventilation systems, using power tools fitted with dust capture and collection devices, ensuring there is no uncontrolled dry cutting, wearing a face mask certified to Australian standards, and cleaning up dust with water or a Class M or H vacuum cleaner. You should also always follow the advice from product manufacturers and suppliers, including the labels and information in safety data sheets. It is important to maintain and regularly review the safety measures your workplace has in place. Employers should be arranging for a qualified person, such as an occupational hygienist, to carry out air monitoring to ensure the controls are working. Employers should also be arranging health monitoring for workers to identify diseases earlier. Early detection can lead to earlier treatment and protection of workers.
Los síntomas. Entre los síntomas más frecuentes de la silicosis, según la Asociación Gallega de Afectados por la Silicosis, son dificultad respiratoria, fiebre, debilidad general, tos fuerte, pérdida de peso, sudores nocturnos, dolores en el pecho e insuficiencia respiratoria. Los síntomas con el tiempo empeoran, pudiendo llevar a la muerte al afectado si no es tratado a tiempo.
Crystalline silica is one of Earth's most common minerals. It is found in stone, brick, rock, concrete, block, mortar, asphalt, and sand. Using power tools on these materials for tasks such as cutting or grinding can release tiny particles of silica into the air. These tiny particles are known as respirable crystalline silica. Workers who breathe in respirable crystalline silica can develop diseases that can be life-altering or deadly.
Traditionally, on construction sites, silica with grinding and cutting produces a lot of dust. It gets into the workers' lungs.
Exposure to respirable crystalline silica can cause silicosis, a disease that permanently scars the lungs. It can also cause lung cancer, kidney disease, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, also known as COPD. The chances of developing these diseases increase with higher and longer durations of exposure.
What we're looking at on the left is a normal lung. You can see that the lung tissue on either side of the heart is dark and black, and that means it's full of air. And the X-ray on the right, you can see those white scars throughout the lungs on both sides. That's all scar tissue. Is from a patient with advanced silicosis.
Without protection, workers who are exposed to very high levels of respirable crystalline silica during activities such as abrasive blasting with sand can develop silicosis within a period of months to a few years. Workers usually do not develop signs of silicosis until after they have been exposed for 10 years or more. Once silicosis symptoms, such as shortness of breath, appear, the symptoms can get worse over time, even after the worker stops working with silica.
Usually people who develop silicosis have been very healthy, vigorous people, and they find after years of the disease that they're short of breath, that they can't go very far, they can't walk very far, they can't climb the stairs, they may even be short of breath just sitting still. I continue to see new cases of silicosis, and yet there is still no treatment. So I would like to see prevention of silicosis so that this disease is eliminated from our hospitals and our health clinics.
Silica disease can be prevented by controlling exposure to silica dust. Water can be used to wet the dust and prevent it from getting into the air. Vacuums can be used to remove the dust at the point where it is made.
We stir up a lot of dust, so we try to prevent as much of it getting in the air as possible. So we use these vacuums. But while we're working on cutting the joints out, we create a lot of dust, which we collect in the vacuums inside these bags. Much rather have it in this bag than I would inside my lungs.
Once I tried the new things, it worked well. Because at the end of the day, I went home without silica dust in my lungs. I went home clean at the end of the day, and I got used to it.
Gary Sassy's family business is stone carving. His father and his grandfather both died of silicosis.
I believe that our industry here has worked hard to bring in new technology that does help with the silicosis problem. I also believe that there's also room for more education for the workers themselves to understand the critical reasons why they have to be very careful in this industry.
In today's climate, we stress to our customers safety, financial stability, company stability. We remind our men we want them to go home same shape or better shape than when they showed up at work that morning.
OSHA's rule for respirable crystalline silica requires employers to protect workers from silica dust to prevent them from developing disease. Silica-related diseases can be prevented if proper controls are used to reduce workers' exposure to dust. More information information on OSHA's requirements to protect workers exposed to respirable crystalline silica can be found at www.osha.gov/silica. For information about other OSHA health and safety standards, go to www.osha.gov or call 1-800-321-OSHA.
El diagnóstico para la silicosis. Para el diagnóstico de la silicosis, el experto realizará un examen físico del paciente y le someterá a un cuestionario para ver algunos aspectos que pueden estar relacionados con la silicosis, como por ejemplo el lugar en el que trabaja o ha trabajado y otras actividades que puedan haberle expuesto al sílice. Las más frecuentes son Entre los exámenes más frecuentes son la radiografía de tórax, la tomografía computarizada o el TAT, pruebas para ver la función pulmonar, exámenes para la tuberculosis, ya que es más frecuente en personas con silicosis, exámenes como análisis de sangre para ver enfermedades del tejido conectivo.
What the young people are invincible. They're Johnny Concretes, they're unbelievably strong and all that kind of, but eventually concrete erodes, and so does your body. If you don't look after it, it'll come back. You must protect yourself and be aware of the regulations. You're protecting your own life and other people around you. People say, well, you know, you look healthy. Don't judge the book by its cover.
Just talk me through your early years. You left school, you were a young lad of 16, you started work with marble as a stonemason. Tell me about your health, what were you like?
Well, I started doing karate when I was 13 at school, so you've got all your school curricula where your games, rugby, football, cross country. Then I started work, carried on with my karate, became a black belt in karate, went on to, for years actually, till in my 30s training. There was never any problem with me breathing or fitness or anything else. You know, I used to do a lot of walking, fast walking as well. There was never any problem. So I was picking lumps of stone up or chunks of marble. So what developed was a very strong upper body and with me karate training, my legs as well, plus all the walking I did. So it was like weight training of a day, and then I would be doing my karate of a night. So I was as fit as a butcher's dog, as they say.
Can I just ask you an unrelated question, because we're talking about it now? When you've been having a working life, working with stone dust, has anyone ever told you about the dangers of working with stone dust?
They said that dust isn't good for you, but they never ever said about the respiratory silica crystal. Apparently that's the devil among all this. But nobody ever told me. I was never instructed about respiratory silica crystal. As I said to you, an old fellow said to me, what you breathe in, some of it stays in. But you think you blow your nose, and well, I'm not being crude, but when you cough, you bring this stuff up, and you see brown or red strands of this in your mucus. So you think it's coming out. You don't realise that some of it's staying in and staying there.
Terry, when did you first notice that you had problems with your health, and particularly your breathing?
We were in Spain, it was quite warm, and it was quite hilly. Now, walking in hills never bothered me before, but we'd be in the shops, bringing back our groceries, and I had to sit down on the pavement because I just couldn't breathe. And my wife said, what's to do with it? I said, I can't breathe, I've got pains in my chest, I'm really breathless. So we sat there for a bit and we took the groceries up in stages. And I said, there's something wrong. And I had a pain in my chest for at least 2 weeks after I come back from Spain. And that's why I went to my GP. And she sent me then to the hospital to see a lung consultant.
And at any time when you were becoming unwell in those few
Finding
weeks,
heart.
did you ever link it with
Finding
your
heart.
workplace and the dust that you've been exposed to?
What I thought was, I'm getting older, so obviously you're not as fit as what you think you are, and it's just wear and tear on your body. Well, you know, I'm getting older, so I've got my shopping and I'm going up a hill. I never realised that my lungs had been damaged, and so it was now starting to take effect on my general health.
Terry, how did you feel when you were first diagnosed with silicosis?
I was absolutely devastated because you hear about people with silicosis, they're dying. It's like your lungs turn to stone and everything else. And as I say, I was only a young fella. It was catastrophic, really. I can't say anything else. I was crestfallen at that situation. Through no fault of my own, I'd got this disease, and how bad is it? How fast is it going to progress? How much longer have I got to live? I'm only a young fella. As far as I'm concerned, healthy, and where do we go from here? You know, what is the future holding for me? It's like a big black cloud on me all the time.
So Terry, it must have been a very difficult time of your life when you were given this diagnosis of silicosis. How did it affect you both personally and your health?
I was crestfallen when I got the information. I presumed I was fit and always looked after myself. And then I'm given with this bombshell of, as I believed, a terminal lung disease. Where does that leave me? What's going to happen to my wife and family? You know, what can I do to minimise the effect of what's happening to me? The situation is I've always been an active person. My wife's an active person, so are my children. The situation I was like set on the side of any activity because I can't walk fast, I can't run, definitely can't run. I used to do some swimming. When I was swimming, eventually I started to get short of breath, and if you're in the middle of the swimming pool, there's nowhere else to go. So it was too dangerous, as far as I was concerned, and too painful to push myself, get to the side, got out, got dressed, and went home, and I've never done it since. I try and do as much as I possibly can to minimise this disease. People say, well, you know, you look healthy. Don't judge the book by its cover. It's what's inside that's not right, and I feel like it all the time. I have like a short of breath. If you've run a marathon, you get a burn. That's what, from time to time, I feel like if I've walked a little bit further than I should do. It's very uncomfortable.
If you were walking down the beach or knocking a football around in the park, would you still get breathless doing that now?
You can kick the ball, but if I have to go and get the ball, I'll walk. I can't run. I don't run anywhere. That's the end of it. I don't run anywhere. As I say, I used to be a very fit man, karate all my life. A lot of running, a lot of physical exercise, press-ups, sit-ups, star jumps. They're out of question. It's not worth doing it because it's so uncomfortable.
Terry, it's clear to me that from your description you've been exposed to significant amounts of stone dust, particularly in the sort of last few years of your working life. What factors do you think contributed to that very heavy exposure?
Well, it was the pressure of work more than anything else. We were supplying an awful lot of men with an awful lot of material, but there was only 3 of us, so it was intense, very intense. It was a smaller area that we worked in. The condensity of the amount of work we were doing and the small facility that we worked in, it was just a 3-tier cake of disaster, if you ask me.
What advice would you give younger people now in your trade about how to do things today to prevent them getting the ill health problems that you have?
So all I can say to all the apprentices who work with silica, you must protect yourself and be aware of the regulations. You're not being a trouble causer. You're not a whistleblower. You're protecting your own life and other people around you. You must adhere to the regulations, and your employees must adhere to the regulations, and try and get the best equipment that they can afford. What the young people are invincible. They're Johnny Concretes. They're unbelievably strong and all that kind of thing. But eventually, concrete erodes, and so does your body. If you don't look after it, it'll come back. And it'll do more damage, ruin your lives by not doing what you're supposed to do.
Trimming. No hay un tratamiento concreto para la silicosis. Lo primero que debe hacer el afectado es alejarse de la fuente que emite sílice para evitar que éste empeore. Para tratar de mejorar su calidad de vida, es recomendable que sigan un tratamiento complementario que comprende antilusivos, fármacos para reducir la tos, broncodilatadores, y en casos necesarios se le administrará oxígeno. Es necesario que los afectados por la silicosis eviten fumar y las sustancias irritantes.
Cell shot into my veins to help cure my silicosis, which is something that's been labeled uncurable.
COPD, right?
It's similar. COPD's got a little bit of a cure to it,
right,
with medications, but stone dust that's in your lungs, silicosis.
So how'd you get the stone dust in there?
I've been cutting granite for 50 years.
All right. So slowly you start having trouble breathing. What happened when we put the stem cells in?
It took about a week before I really felt anything, but then all of a sudden I had a severe cough for several months now. The cough got much better, and as each week went by, it was much better, and now I hardly cough at all. So the breathing is much better. When I wake up in the morning, I feel really refreshed, where in the past, when I get up in the morning, I had a hard time catching my breath. So it definitely has been a big help.
Excellent. Now, one thing, we put 2 cc's into your vein in your arm, and you just tell me about what happened, because I always tell people ask me, what's going to happen? And I never can predict, right? It goes to the inflammation in your body. So obviously your lungs get a big hit, but tell me about the vein in your leg, the varicosity.
Yeah, I've got very close veins in my leg. That night, after having the 2 cc's injected, I was sitting watching TV, and the back of my leg really started to itch, and it itched for several hours. And when I went to bed that night, as I took my stockings off, I noticed that the dark blue varicose veins on the back of my leg were just kind of a light brown instead of the dark purple, and the bulge that was sticking out there was much less than it was before, and now it's gone.
Little bonus, right?
All right.
Thank you.